part of the relevance for that today, I mean, the question of how do you integrate a rising power into the international system? And there's a lot of consternation and disagreement about China and how we're integrating China into the international system, and whether attempts to integrate it more have actually decreased China's sort of expansionist instincts that some people see. So what are some of the options that you would think about with regard to China? If preventive war isn't ideal, there are more soft power options available now. What are some of the other things you would think about? Deterrence? How do we deter without a really strong threat of? I mean, you have to demonstrate at some point, right, for the deterrence to be really persuasive.
Credibility of your capabilities and your willingness to defend your interests
Yeah.
is key to this. Historically, the classic alternative, frankly, that's much more common than a preventive attack against a rising adversary to diminish its power, has been balance of power, politics, arms races, alliance building, and sometimes war, if necessary, but usually when you're on the receiving end of some kind of aggression by the rising state. So balancing arms races, alliances, deterrence, that, frankly, it's not perfect. It comes with risk, but it's about risk management at the end of the day. There's no such thing as absolute security. So you need to figure out, how do I produce the kind of military capabilities that will signal my credibility, my willingness to defend what I value in enough of a convincing way that a rising China, a rising Iran, North Korea, Russia won't be tempted to actually use some kind of aggressive acts.
So how does that square with a point that you make that you end the book with, about the importance of humility and sort of taking a patient, sober approach to these strategic questions? How do you operationalize humility, and how does humility square with deterrence?
Yeah, humility, my advocacy of humility is rooted in my belief that human beings are very poor predictors of the future. And the logic of preventive war really hinges on your level of confidence that you can see the future clearly enough, and you evaluate the likelihood of aggression, the likelihood of a future war, with enough clarity that you are willing to pull the trigger and take on all the risks that come with military action. Deterrence falls short of this. It is risky, it is confrontational, and oftentimes in world history it has spiraled into actual military conflict. But there's been wonderful research on this. Philip Tetlock is a political psychologist at the University of Pennsylvania, has done wonderful work on this question of our ability to predict the future with enough precision to take very bold action.
This is the Good Judgment Project?
Yeah, he's got 40 years of data in which he has actually tapped into the expertise of foreign policy scholars, of journalists, people who have spent their entire careers studying certain foreign issues, studying certain parts of the world, and he asks them to develop predictions 2 years out, 5 years out, 10 years out, with a wonderful methodology. And then over 40 years, he's been able to go back and evaluate the level of accuracy in their predictions. And he literally concludes that they are no more accurate than pure chance, or in a metaphor he uses in his book, a monkey throwing a dart at a dartboard could have a more accurate prediction rate than the smartest people on these particular problems. So preventive war comes with high risk, and it depends on your confidence that you see the future with enough clarity that it's worth taking this action in the first place.